Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first of our three-part webinar that will help you in planning your travel to the University of Limerick to start your studies this coming September. So the first of our webinar series is looking at what to expect for this coming academic year and the planning that we have put in place from the University of Limerick given the global pandemic that we all face with COVID-19. I want to say a big welcome to everybody that has joined us from all over the world. I hope everybody on the East is having a lovely night or evening. Big hello to everybody from China, Malaysia, Indonesia, the Philippines, India, all that direction of the world. Good afternoon to everybody that is on the same time or close to the same time zone as us here in Ireland. So everybody in Africa and the Middle East and around Europe. And then a good morning to everybody on the west side of the world. So Canada, US, Mexico, Brazil. I hope you're all set and ready to start your day, as some of us are midway through and the rest of us are getting ready to head to bed. My name is Niamh Kavanagh and I'm the International Recruitment Officer for North and South America, and I'm delighted to have you all join us today in order to help you prepare for coming to study with us in September. So this presentation, you're also joined by my colleagues Katrina Conway, Catherine Martin and also Sarah Butler, who are available to answer questions on the Q&A chat as I'm presenting. So please feel free to ask whatever questions you may have as I'm going through the presentation. And if there's some questions left at the end, I will address them as we finish the PowerPoint. This presentation and webinar will also be available post this session, so we will be putting it up on our YouTube channel and we will email it around to all of you in order for you to just look back on some of the information on the PowerPoint. So let's get started. Very exciting times we all face as you prepare to come to study with us at the university, and I'm excited to kind of give you a little bit of information of the different plans we have in place in order to maximise your experience with the University of Limerick, both academically and socially, but also to give you a better understanding of what the academic semester is going to look like. So let me just get on to the next slide. There we go. So similar to universities around the world, the University of Limerick has had to adapt and change their way of teaching due to COVID-19. Back a couple of months ago, we went into full lockdown here in Ireland, and we were very quickly able to move all of our programs online for the students to finish out their semester online. And like what you have all faced over the last couple of months, you know, finishing your bachelor's degree, finishing your high schools, all online due to the virus, we were very easily able to adapt to that. And currently now in Ireland, we are past the lockdown stage. We're on phase 3, and this is allowing us to reopen our campus for September, and we will be opening on the 28th of September. And for students that are planning to travel to Ireland, you will have to travel 14 days in advance to coming in order to self-isolate. But we're going to have a webinar on self-isolation, accommodation, airport, transport, all of that next Thursday at 4 o'clock. So please join in to find out more about the different supports and different plans in place for all of that. And one of the things before I move on to the next slide that I really want to highlight is how much we want to make sure that we look after you as students. So at the University of Limerick, we pride ourselves on the supports we give to our international students, and the planning and development of the academic year is very much focused on making sure that we give you a very enriched and engaging experience as possible within the restrictions of COVID-19 and the pandemic. Okay, so the next slide, I'm just going to go through what phase we're in here in Ireland and what that looks like. So we're in phase 3. So the Irish government a couple of months ago went into lockdown and then developed a roadmap of 5 phases for reopening the country. And due to the level of flattening, like this, us in Ireland flattening the line so much that we've managed to move on to phase 3. So what that entails is a lot of our stores are reopened, our supermarkets are reopened, our cinemas are reopened. We have shopping centres. We're allowed, gather outside as long as we're maintaining social distancing, and we can have people in our houses with social distancing and different things like that. So this has allowed us to put a plan in place based off phase 3 and the restrictions or regulations that are in place with COVID-19 to reopen the university for this coming September. And what I'm going to go through now is the plan for that and what it looks like in the current phase that we're in here in Ireland. So plans for the academic year or semester is based off a couple of different scenarios. So we have introduced levels, and the levels are depending on what stage of the coronavirus we're at here in Ireland. So if we go back to where we were a couple of months ago, where the coronavirus is spreading heavily and we go into full lockdown, we call that level A. And level A means that you'll be on classes will be online completely all the time because we'll be in lockdown. At the moment, we're at level B. So we have a 2-meter social distancing requirement that we need and guidelines to stick to. So the university has planned its teaching around this 2-meter social distancing plan. And what that means is that when you're in the classroom and stuff like that, we have to introduce social distancing in order to be able to reopen the university. And we have introduced what we call the circuit breaker model. So the circuit breaker model is where we'll have cohorts of students on campus at certain times over the academic semester. So incoming first years and incoming postgraduate students will all be on campus on the 28th of September. Okay, and they'll be on campus for 1 week. And then for first years, they're going to get 2 weeks off. And for postgrad students, you get 3 weeks off. And what that does, it allows us to maximize the teaching that you get face-to-face while you're on campus with that cohort. But it also allows us to manage, if God forbid somebody was to become ill with the virus, we're able to identify that person and identify the close contact people, so we stop the spread of the virus on campus very quickly. And it also gives us time to maximize the space and the facilities that we have for students while learning. Also, while we're doing that teaching model, we're going to have social bubbles in place. So students will have face-to-face with their own cohort. So first years will all stick together, second years will all stick together, third years will all stick together, fourth years will all stick together, and postgrads will all stick together. This minimizes the risk of infection, and it also helps with the track and trace, as I mentioned, which is very, very, very important during the pandemic and for us all to make sure that we keep the curve flattened. So just to give you an idea of what that will look like in terms of a nice timetable structure, you can see there is first years are going to have 4 weeks face-to-face contact, and they have a week every 2 weeks. Second, third and fourth years and postgrad students will have 3 weeks face-to-face contact and be online for the other the time in between those on-campus weeks. That is looking at the circuit breaker, and that's us being at level B. If, and hopefully we're able to move to level C, we'll introduce more face-to-face teaching because the distance becomes 1 meter and it allows us to open up more space and to have more people on campus. And then if we go to level D, it's just general hygiene, hand sanitizers, don't touch your face, those normal guidelines that were at the start of the pandemic before we all went into lockdown. So that's what the academic delivery model and what the academic semester is going to look like. So it's this blended learning approach of a mix of face-to-face and also a mix of online. So the face-to-face, once again, is going to be determined around your labs, your tutorials, practical work that needs to be done on campus. And then the online will be some of your larger lectures that we are able to do virtually like we are today. And then just to give you a better idea. So the schedules and different things. So 1 hour online lectures, you won't need a room, and then we'll have 2 to 3 hours face to face. We're trying to get the student labs where there's 15, depending on the lab and the subject, but roughly anywhere between 15 to 20 to potentially 30 students, but we're trying to keep it as minimized as possible. And this allows then the student extra time on, you know, exposure to academics during their lab and tutorial, but also it allows them to get more time on a project, on a machine, everything like that. So we're really trying to maximize your experience and maximize your learning outcomes with the restrictions and the guidelines that we have to abide by while teaching. So studying with us for this coming semester will be a little bit different to what you're used to. It'll be a mix of your standard face-to-face and the online, as I mentioned, the blending. To be able to partake in this type of study, a laptop is going to be vital. So it doesn't matter what make you have, whether it's Dell, HP, Mac. Just make sure that you have like the correct softwares that you need for your program. So make sure you have Microsoft package, the Office package, you know, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, because everybody needs those when in college. Some students may need extra like Adobe type packages if you're doing, you know, product design. But if you do need extra packages, just check with your course leader on that. Okay, and you'll be able to find out that during your first week of study. And also, you know, if you haven't got a laptop, it might be a nice present to get before coming to Ireland, or you could order it while you're self-isolating and have a nice new toy delivered to the apartment while you're self-isolating and get it all set up. Personally, if that's what I might do, I would treat myself to a self-isolation present of a new laptop. But just make sure that you have that. And if you are staying off campus, make sure that you have reliable internet so that you're able to connect for your online classes. So the academic side of the university is our core, and it's really important. But as a student coming to the university and going to university in general, it's not all about your academic. It's also about socializing and making friends and developing as a person. And as we pride ourselves on being #1 for international student support, we're also #1 for social activities. And we have to thank our student life, which is the governing body on campus that represents the students. And they have a fantastic clubs and societies, and they are wonderful at what they do. So our student life team are developing ways in which we can get students to sign up to our over 80 different clubs or societies. And when you do join the university, you become part of our Wolf Pack, because Wolfie is our mascot. There he is, standing tall and proud on our soccer fields. And what the UL Wolves do and our clubs and societies is they are just magnificent at organising events and different things. And as I said, they're working very hard in finding out what type of societies we'll be able to run fully this year, which ones will have to be somewhat virtually online or with extra support. So like obviously our kayaking club or our rowing clubs can still go out and do outdoor activity on the River Shannon, which flows through the campus, while our Tea Appreciation Society may need to do a bit more of virtual tea mornings rather than, you know, meeting in a small cafe together to discuss. So they're working really hard, and they're going to be sending out information through their website. So you can see the link there, www.ulwolves.ie, and they will have some wonderful activities for students to be able to join. And I would highly recommend joining a club or society when you get here, because it's where you're going to meet your really close and best friends. And all of our international students have joined at least 3 or 4 different clubs. Any of them that you speak to will always recommend it, and they say it's one of their best parts and experiences while studying at the University of Limerick. So just moving on to the next couple of things that you can do while in Ireland. So obviously a big part about coming to study in Ireland is you also have access to see amazing historical sites. You get to in the past we would have been freely able to travel around Europe and see parts of Europe. But with the current travel restrictions and different things in place with COVID-19 and the self-isolation period, students won't be able to visit other countries as freely. So like me and like my friends, we're not going outside of Ireland this summer for holidays or anything like that. We're actually going to go and tour around Ireland. And there's some magnificent things you can do, not just in Limerick, but close by Limerick City. I'm going this weekend to go hiking. Myself and my friends will meet at the bottom of the mountain, and we'll hike up it. Obviously, making sure that we, do the correct procedures and keep within the, social distancing and hygiene and stuff. But there is loads of fun things that you can do. And one of the things, even in the picture here, you've got King's John Castle and the River Shannon. Right beside the castle is a place where you can organise kayaking lessons. So you can get out and kayak around the castle, around Limerick City with an instructor. I'm really excited. I'm actually hopefully doing it in 3 weeks' time with my friends. King's John Castle itself is magnificent to go in and visit. It was built in the 1100s. It's one of the oldest castles in Ireland. We have loads of different opportunities. And just to kind of show you some of the stuff that's in Limerick City, we have wonderful walkways around the city. I've done a lot of them now because for a while, when we were in our 5K radius, lockdown restrictions, it was a lot of walking I would have done. And I got out to see some magnificent places that I never knew were in Limerick City at all free, and the weather was magnificent to be able to do it. I mentioned about the kayak. Limerick Milk Market is a wonderful place on a Saturday morning to go, get a coffee, get all your fresh, vegetables, breads, just a really nice area to visit. So there's loads of things that you can do outside of the classroom as well. And it's really important to get that balance and to make sure that you keep that balance, because you don't want to be constantly in your room studying all the time. You want to get out, you want to experience Ireland, you want to experience the culture, and we want to support you through that whole journey. So we want to make sure that you're comfortable academically and that you're doing well and that you're able to manage your online and face-to-face classes, but we also want to make sure that you get out and enjoy Ireland and make friends. So at the moment, we're at level B, and it's 2 meter social distancing. But as you could see from the planning slide, we do have different levels, and the university are ready to adapt to any of the levels that we need to, depending on how COVID-19 is when you guys arrive in Ireland, or as we develop through it. And hopefully after Christmas, vaccines will be in place and we'll be coming back to what we're used to, or what the normal used to be like, or come closer to what our new normal is going to be like. But if things changes, we are able to adapt very quickly. And our main priority during this whole pandemic is to make sure that you're safe, that our students are safe, that our staff are safe, and that you're getting the best learning outcome that we can possibly deliver while following COVID-19 guidelines. Okay, and that's really, really important. Now, I know that my colleagues have been busy answering questions, and I'm going to just answer a couple of them here really quickly as I'm live. But before I start answering them, I just want to say thanks a million for listening to the presentation. We will send it out. We will be popping it up on our YouTube channels as well for students to be able to look at, and for parents and everybody out there that needs the information, it will be available for you. So just some of the questions coming in is around the academic year. So will I have access to the campus facilities even if I'm technically doing classes online? Yes, so the campus is an amazing feature. It's actually one of my favorite parts about working in UL, is to be able to go onto the UL campus every day. So it's over 336 acres in size. There's magnificent walkways. There's outdoor facilities that you'll be able to use. Certain buildings and different things like that will obviously not be available while you're technically one of the cohort of students studying online, but you will have access to other facilities that the campus has. So yes, you will be able to access some facilities while you're technically online. And for people living on campus and staying in our campus accommodation, you'll be able to enjoy what the wonderful campus has to offer between the river walkways, jogging paths. We'll have outdoor sports for everybody to be able to join in. So that's a great question. So another question is coming in around self-isolation and what happens if I don't arrive in time for self-isolation to start on the 28th. So what we're recommending for international students to do is to arrive on the 12th or 13th of September to isolate for 14 days. But say, for example, if you arrive on the 14th or 15th or just a little while after that, you will still go through your 14-day self-isolation and then you will join classes, okay? So no matter what stage you arrive into Ireland, you will have to do your 14-day self-isolation. And if your classes have started, you will just join them online for the first little while, and then you'll go face to face once you've completed your self-isolation. But make sure to join our webinar next Thursday at 4 o'clock, which will go through accommodation, it'll go through self-isolation, how to get from the airport, and our orientation program that we have planned for you for this coming September. Really, really important. Just one other question coming in, not around the academic stuff, just around the visa question, actually. So the question is, can I start my program in January if there's travel restrictions in place that I can't come while I still have a visa? Yes, you can. So for students that may not be able to attend for the first semester, what will happen is you will have your visa in place before September. You will enroll on the program, but you will do it all online, and then you'll be able to travel in January. So really important that you come in January. But once again, we have another webinar for our visa information session on Monday at 4 o'clock. Just make sure to please come along and join. And my colleague Liam Ryan will be there to present and answer questions on visas and immigration and all of those other elements that are involved in that. So I think that's all the questions. I want to thank everybody for joining us today. It's been wonderful to have you and to be able to give you more information on what the academic year is going to look like. We will be, once again, as I said, sending this recording out to all of our students so that you can look back on it and you can read through the PowerPoint slides. If you have any questions or any doubts whatsoever, please don't hesitate to contact us at the international office. We're all working from home, but we're available to answer any questions you may have. And we're really, really, really excited and really looking forward to welcoming you all to the university to study with us this coming September. To everybody over in the east side of the world, good night. I hope you sleep well. To everybody on the same time zone as myself, have a lovely evening. And to everybody on the West Coast, good morning and best of luck with the rest of your day. Thank you all again, and thank you to my colleagues who joined in to answer the questions. Thank you to Katrina, Catherine and Sarah. And once again, we really look forward to welcoming you this coming September. Okay, bye everybody.